Hi everyone, and welcome back to redruM Media. I just wanted to bring you the latest updates on Leila Cavett and her disappearance. We are now finding out that the suspect who has been held in her disappearance is actually being held on 2 counts of lying to a federal agent. And there were also documents that were filed today, August 17th of 2020, in federal court in the Southern District of Florida. And those documents allege that he's also being charged with kidnapping, and that kidnapping charge, as you can see in the documents, and as I will read in a few minutes, actually pertains to Leila's son, Kamdyn. So here's the latest information that we have found out at this time. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that Leila is going to be found alive. Some of the most important key takeaways from the affidavit in support of criminal complaint: on July 26th of 2020, between approximately 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m., a 2-year-old child, later identified as K.A., was located wandering alone in an apartment complex in Miramar, Florida. Law enforcement posted a photo of the child online and through social media in an effort to identify the child, and determined it was the child of LC. Law enforcement began searching for LC and determined that she was driving a white GMC 3500 pickup. A license plate reader check showed that her vehicle was last seen at a Walmart parking lot at the intersection of State Road 7 and Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, Florida, on July 27th of 2020. Law enforcement set up a surveillance, and on July 28th of 2020, Ryan approached LC's truck with keys in his hand. Ryan was subsequently interviewed and stated that he had known LC since approximately January of 2019, and among other things, LC was coming to Florida to sell him her truck. Ryan told law enforcement that he had paid $3,000 cash for the truck. According to Ryan, LC arrived in her vehicle at the Racetrack gas station located at 5800 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood at approximately 2:30 p.m. on July 25th of 2020. Ryan told law enforcement that he went to Fort Lauderdale Beach with LC and her son that afternoon in his 2004 gold Lexus while leaving her truck behind. Ryan told officers that when the 3 of them returned to the Racetrack gas station, they parked at the pumps. Ryan further advised law enforcement that at approximately 2:30 a.m. on July 26th of 2020, LC and her child left in a dark sedan with several unknown black males. Ryan advised that that was the last time that he ever saw LC. Law enforcement reviewed the video surveillance footage from the Racetrack gas station to determine whether LC left that morning in a dark sedan. The video surveillance did not show Ryan's car at the pumps where he described it, nor did it show LC leaving in a dark sedan. Law enforcement continued its investigation and obtained video surveillance footage from the area where K.A. was recovered abandoned. A vehicle consistent with Ryan's gold Lexus is seen directly in front of the apartment complex where the child was recovered, only minutes before the child was found. Ryan's Lexus is very distinguishable because it has a missing front bumper. Additionally, the surveillance video from the Racetrack gas station shows Ryan's car leaving the gas station at approximately 8:15 that morning and returning at approximately 8:38 a.m., which is consistent with the time frame in which the child was abandoned and recovered. Law enforcement also noted that the Racetrack gas station is a short drive, less than 3 miles, from where the child was recovered. Law enforcement was able to retrieve historical cell site information from Sprint for the phone that Ryan was confirmed to be using at the time. The responsive records show that Ryan's phone was utilizing a tower in the area where the child was abandoned. At the same time, the child was abandoned and his car was observed on video surveillance. So at some point, they determined that Ryan was actually using Leila's debit card. Eurofient specifically reviewed 2 separate purchases made by Ryan on July 26th of 2020 at Walmart at approximately 9:42 a.m. after the child was abandoned. Video surveillance and store receipts show that Ryan was purchasing hefty, strong 39-gallon extra-large trash drawstring bags and 2 boxes of extra-strength carpet odor eliminator. Approximately 15 minutes later, video surveillance and receipts show that Ryan went back into the Walmart and purchased a roll of advanced strength duct tape. On his Facebook social media account, discussing the relationship with LC, in which he made a statement about covering a window on LC's vehicle with a garbage bag because the window was broken and damaged. Law enforcement reviewed surveillance footage of LC's initial arrival and was able to determine that all of her windows on her truck were intact at the time. Additionally, the rearview mirror of the truck appeared to be mounted and intact. A federal search warrant was subsequently sought and executed on LC's truck. Law enforcement searched the truck and observed that the driver's side window was broken and the driver's side visor was bent out of its ordinary position. Law enforcement interviewed JM, a friend of Ryan's. JM advised law enforcement that he saw Ryan on July 26 of 2020. JM advised that Ryan attempted to sell him a white GMC pickup truck for approximately $1,000. JM advised officers that Ryan told him that a girl from Georgia drove it to Florida. On August 15th of 2020, a federal search warrant was executed on Ryan's Lexus. Law enforcement located a half-empty container of all-purpose cleaner with bleach, numerous black trash bags, and a white powdery substance under the front passenger seat. Law enforcement conducted interviews of several employees at the racetrack gas station in Hollywood, where LC was last seen. An employee recognized a picture of Ryan and told law enforcement that they had seen Ryan using the racetrack dumpster. An additional employee specifically remembered seeing children's toys and women's clothing inside the dumpster on or around July 26 of 2020. The employee recognized a distinct pair of floral pants worn by LC in a picture shown to them. Law enforcement recovered video surveillance footage from July 26 of 2020, where Ryan can be observed parking his Lexus in front of the racetrack dumpster. August 15th of 2020, a federal search warrant was executed on the iPhone Ryan was using and had in his possession. A forensic extraction of the iPhone revealed Google searches from July 26 of 2020. Specifically, law enforcement recovered a Google search at 12:01 a.m. for "What day does commercial garbage pick up for Hollywood, Florida?" Additionally, law enforcement recovered another search at 1:45 a.m. the same day for "Does bleach and alcohol make chloroform?" According to the National Institute of Health, chloroform is commonly used to incapacitate a victim by rendering them unconscious. Law enforcement interviewed numerous witnesses, including her family members, who indicated that LC would never leave her child with anyone. Additionally, law enforcement learned that LC was still breastfeeding. Law enforcement has reviewed LC's social media accounts and determined LC used Facebook Messenger as a regular means of communication with friends and family prior to her disappearance. Upon review of her social media after July 26 of 2020, law enforcement has learned that there has not been any activity on her accounts. They further go on to indicate that Ryan's Lexus, bearing an Ohio tag, was manufactured outside the state of Florida and had traveled in interstate and foreign commerce. Based on the training and experience further supported by foregoing facts, I respectfully submit that probable cause exists to believe that beginning on July 25th of 2020 and continuing through July 26th of 2020, Shannon Ryan did knowingly and willfully kidnap, seize, confine, abduct, and carry away KA with the intent to collect a ransom, reward, or other benefit, and had held the victim for that reason, and used a facility or an instrumentality of interstate or foreign commerce in committing or furtherance of the offense is violation of Title 18. We will bring you new information as it becomes available, as I don't think this is the last that we're going to hear about the disappearance of Leila, especially since it appears that Leila has not been found at this time. If everything is accurate and correct that has been alleged in the affidavit, it sounds like they have a good start on finding out maybe where some of their belongings might be, but at this time, it does not appear that they have either recovered those items or they have recovered Leila. As you can imagine, there's a lot of trash that goes into a landfill, so it may be rather difficult to actually find anything at this point, but they have a good start by obtaining surveillance and by obviously interviewing all the witnesses that they have. I'm glad that they have been able to finally put someone behind bars, and our continued thoughts and prayers are with Leila, her son, and her family and friends.